moments with Moses. If you will not obey the voice of the Lord your God, or be careful to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command you this day, then all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you.
Welcome to the program again, friends. The Republican GOP primary, woo, woo, woo. It is for sure a three-man race right now between Romney, Kaine, and Gingrich. Gingrich surprised some people by throwing a sop, perhaps, or perhaps it was genuine, at a religious right meeting in Iowa in which he said he supported personhood for the unborn baby. This was a big surprise for me, but it wasn't. You see, as a Catholic, Newt Gingrich is duty-bound to uphold the teachings of the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church, and of course the Scriptures, teach us that an unborn human being is a person made in the image of God and deserves the full protection of law. All right? You're protected by law. Someone can't come up and cut your throat, because if they do, they will face a penalty in law. That's what it means to be protected by the law. Okay? It doesn't mean that somebody is going to be able to stop someone from stealing from them or harming them or even killing them. But it means that if somebody does commit a crime against you, you have the protection of law. The person who is your assailant will face consequences, whatever they may be, in a court of law. So when we say that an unborn baby deserves the protection of law, what that means is that we want to make it a criminal act to kill an unborn human being from the moment of conception until birth. Well, the religious right in Iowa plays a fairly significant role in the primary process. The religious right has all but abandoned Mitt Romney. Good riddance, Mitt. But the problem is Mitt has deep pockets. Mitt has staying power. And boy, does he look good in a suit, huh? Just ask Rick Perry. Rick Perry looks good in a suit too, but anyway, I digress. The truth of the matter is that the religious right is severely divided between Michelle Bachmann, Rick Santorum, Herman Cain, a little bit for Newt Gingrich, not at all for Huntsman, and just a little bit for Ron Paul. So, who will emerge the winner out of Iowa is a key question, but it's not the main question. The main question is this: who will be casualties in Iowa and in New Hampshire? Because after those two states, there are going to be some clear front runners and other people are losing, and boy, oh boy, it's going to be hard for the others to raise money. I've got to take a quick break. When we come back, an exclusive interview from Israel with Pastor Ombre Liggett.
Oh, shut the door, keep out the devil. Shut the door, keep the Rudy in the night. Shut the door, keep out the devil. GOP gonna be alright. GOP gonna be alright.
Hi, Joe Costello here, founder of Kylea Health and Energy. I want to share with you a product that has changed hundreds of thousands of lives.
Introducing the Total Living Drinks, Greens and Berry, the ultimate superfood formulas that provide you the 9 daily essential areas of nutrition your body needs. Each scoop provides the life-giving phytonutrients that come from the equivalent of 5 servings of organic vegetables and berries, probiotics for better intestinal function, antioxidants for disease prevention, and vitamins and minerals for establishing maximum health. Order now and get started on the Total Living Drink. When you do, a generous gift will go to Randall Terry's organization to help further his work and further the kingdom. Order online and receive an online discount or call the toll-free number. Call today and enjoy maximum health and energy.
Don't try to be subtle or clever. Use a pile driver. Hit the point once, then come back and hit it a second time. A tremendous whack. Sir Winston Churchill. Welcome back to the program, friend. It is I, your servant, Randall. I recently had the privilege of interviewing a lot of leaders, both political and clergy, in Israel. One of them was a pastor from Ohio named Pastor Ombre Liggett. He's a part of an initiative with other evangelicals, some of whose names you will recognize, who are trying to recruit clergy. The founders of this republic nicknamed them the Black Regiment, trying to recruit clergy to run for political office. I had a very interesting and somewhat lengthy discussion with Pastor Ombre Liggett while I was in Israel, and I bring you part 1 of that series. I'm with Pastor Ombre Liggett, what a cool name, from Dover, Ohio, who is the pastor of Church of the Harvest. Pastor, I was told, and I said, let's grab the microphone, let's do this. No pre-trial interview.
Right.
That you're trying to collect pastors to run for office.
Yes.
All right, evangelical pastors.
That's correct. Tony Perkins, who works out of Washington, D.C., Rick Joyner, myself, and a group of others had a meeting actually just in the last couple weeks in Charlotte at the old Heritage International headquarters where PTL used to be located.
The black hole of all
Yeah,
evangelical ministries.
That's like where we're storing that whole thing. So, but
It's going to be your black hole too, beware.
Tony Perkins really birthed the vision of the 300 where he's looking to encourage and get as many pastors to run for office on every level. He's really heartfelt about getting pastors in the state level because he feels that in the fight that we're in right now in the United States of America, we got to hold the battleground at the state level, that the real battle is going to come down to what's going on to the states, restoring the sovereignty of state authority and things like this, that we've got to restore integrity, moral centeredness, people of virtue back into that line of defense.
All right, what priority does ending the murder of children by abortion play?
Oh, it's enormous. Actually, we're working very heavy with Janet Porter. I don't know if you know who she is. She's worked in this battleground very long. In fact, in Ohio, she's just introduced a bill that we've gotten through the House called the Heartbeat Bill, which means...
I'm familiar with it. I didn't know that was her. Okay.
Yeah, that's Janet Porter, and very close to what we're doing as well. But of course, where we're at is, you know, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It begins with life. Life begins... I mean, we're human beings, but what species, what creature doesn't defend its offspring, its children, its young?
Maybe jackals from time to time, but I'd
maybe.
hate to be like a jackal.
Yeah, this is true, you know, and so we want to be, we really feel obviously that is the foundation, that, you know, family, life, the unborn child, you know, womb to tomb is really a virtue of ours that we want to see people taken care of.
Do you have a position on eliminating entitlements?
I do have a position on it. I feel like, you know, I've studied
Does the group, in other words, when you say you're recruiting 300 men, the first question, I'm recruiting people to run for federal office. So we've got 4 commitments right now for the U.S. House. I'm running for president.
Okay.
In order to show, to use the federal election laws to show dead babies on TV and to hammer on other issues that the networks can't deny during an election cycle. So when I think about people running for office, I say, okay, what's the agenda? What's the template? What are the non-negotiables for this team of 300 you're putting together?
Right. Well, just to kind of bounce off what you said, I did run for Congress in the Ohio 18th Congressional District in 2010, and praying right now, trying to discern what it is that we're supposed to do for 2012.
Did you run in a primary?
I did run in a primary.
Did you get beat in the primary?
I did get beat in the primary.
How much money did you raise?
$36,000 in 4 months.
And how much did your opponent raise and spend?
Bob Gibbs was the winner of the election. He won with less than 20% of the vote because there were 8 of us that ran. The Ohio Republican Party spent probably close to $500,000 on his campaign.
It's a plurality, so the guy with the most votes wins.
Yeah.
Where did you finish in the horse race?
I finished 4th in the horse race between the guy that won it in 2008. And of course, Bob Gibbs, who was an Ohio State senator at the time, and then they asked him to run. He was asked by Boehner to run. You know, Boehner was running around looking for people to run.
So he's a Boehner man, not a Tea Party man.
That's exactly right. Yeah,
Okay.
no, Bob Gibbs has voted well into the high 90% with Boehner every single time since he's been there in Washington, D.C., and voted for the Patriot Act, voted for this debt, bill that just went through. Some things that, I feel not real good about. So
back to the agenda. What are the non-negotiables?
Non-negotiables, of course, for me, there's a long list of them.
For the group, does the group have one?
Yeah, the group has one, and it's obviously first and foremost based on virtue. That we need people, individuals of integrity, people who have a sense of direction, a moral compass. They understand the principles of the founding of our nation, our Constitution. Christian virtue, which would go with life. It would go with family.
I'm specifically, forgive me, I'll be more specific. I'm specifically asking policy issues on a state or federal level.
Okay. We haven't gotten that detailed. We're not going to dictate to every candidate, here are the exact policies that this group stands for. Right now, what we're saying is we need the Christian leaders to step forward and say, once again, we're willing to sacrifice our personal ambitions to do what's right in this time of crisis for our nation. We believe that, I mean, we're not just saying anybody is to become part of this group. We're looking at them and vetting them and saying, you know, is this genuine for you? Is your heart in the right place as far as your virtues, your faith in God, all of that is concerned? And then we'll start talking about, you know, getting down to the nitty-gritty. I'm sure in a group of 300, you're going to find some people that have, well, I believe in this or that, but we need virtue.
May I make some suggestions?
Yes, please.
You need to be careful that it's not an altar call. In other words, I would rather have somebody who had issues in their lives that they hadn't worked through, but they're going to make child killing a crime. They're going to say you cannot have a homosexual married. They're going to end the slave labor plantation. Than to have a person who has their interior together, their family prays together, and you know, things that are all good and that I want to see in a man. But he says, well, you know, I'm going to go with President Obama on this one, or my son is a homosexual, so I can't fight against them. Or
no, those are the issues that we're not going to compromise on. In fact, Tony's for Tony to give his endorsement, there's going to be a strict level of vetting on those very issues right there. For us, in the Christian virtue, there's no gray area in the things that you're talking about. You know, that's really where we're at.
Well, I wanted to make the distinction between personal virtue and
civil. What's your personal conviction and what's your civil conviction? And we believe you can't leave your Christian conviction at home. You know, you don't go to work in Washington, D.C. or in the state level or even in the local level in the mayor's office, county commissioner, and go, well, you know, faith and politics. No, that's not who we're agreeing with. That's not what we're supporting and pushing.
Well, thank you, Pastor Ombre. I'll be right back with a radical quote from one of those radical founders. Then the anger of the Lord was kindled against his people, and he abhorred his heritage. He gave them into the hand of the nations, so that those who hated them ruled over them. Their enemies oppressed them, and they were brought into subjection under their power.
Hi, Joe Costello here, founder of Kailea Health and Energy. I want to share with you a product that has changed hundreds of thousands of lives.
Introducing the Total Living Drinks, Greens and Berry, the ultimate superfood formulas that provide you the 9 daily essential areas of nutrition your body needs. Each scoop provides the life-giving phytonutrients that come from the equivalent of 5 servings of organic vegetables and berries, probiotics for better intestinal function, antioxidants for disease prevention, and vitamins and minerals for establishing maximum health. Order now and get started on the Total Living Drink. When you do, a generous gift will go to Randall Terry's organization to help further his work and further the kingdom. Order online and receive an online discount or call the toll-free number. Call today and enjoy maximum health and energy.
Samuel Adams said, "It is not unfrequent to hear men declaim loudly upon liberty, who, if we may judge by the whole tenor of their actions, mean nothing else by it but their own liberty." Friend, we're supposed to love our neighbors as ourselves. It's not enough that we fight for life and liberty and justice for ourselves. We're supposed to do it for our neighbor, born and unborn. We want men in government who love liberty for everyone.
The following program contains incessant calls to battle with the unsavory. If you suffer from squeaky clean-handedness, Randall might not be right for you. Check with your local Pharisee.
Standing for truth in the 4 corners of America. Fighting for justice on the frontiers of the culture wars. And turning resistance into an art form. the man who creates social tension just by walking into the room, Randall Terry.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's program. The entire Egyptian cabinet has resigned in protest against the army, and 15,000 army defectors from Syria are in Turkey getting ready for what is going to be a bloody assault against the Syrian regime. And the Muslim Brotherhood has held its first huge public meeting in Libya since seizing the reins of power in Libya, not to mention those oil fields, baby. Oh, you think terrorism got funded before? Wait till you see this. Today's program brought to you in part by the Muslim Brotherhood, killing Christians for the glory of jihad, and by the Obama administration, betraying Christians for the glory of hell. I'll be right back after a quick word from my friend, Dr. S.
The president called me, the great Professor Schlatzenheimer, to fix this deck quandary. The blistering idiot could not figure it out for himself. This is not rocket science. It simply comes down to Einsteinian relativistic physics. The key is to not let the deck grow above 15 trillion, or 1.5 times 10 to the 13th power, because that is the Schwarzschild radius of our country. If we let the deck get above 1.5 times 10 to the 13th, then we will have to construct an Einstein-Rosen bridge to slide out of here before this nation is reduced to a singularity. Or in layman's terms, a black hole. You don't know what a singularity is?
Welcome to the program, friend. The news out of the Middle East is coming at such a rapid pace, most people cannot keep up with it. Frankly, most Americans don't even care. We'll talk about that a little bit today and a lot more tomorrow as we focus on Iran. But let us look at what is happening in Egypt, Libya, Syria, all of it connected to the Muslim Brotherhood. Before I look at the particulars, I want to remind you about something. Egypt has a long and proud history of being a world power. Remember that. Though it was thousands of years ago, nevertheless, they were a world power, and they still remember it. Syria was also a world power. You might remember that from the book of Daniel. They too have a long and proud history of dominating what at that time was the known world. Iran, they don't even call themselves Iranians, they call themselves Persians. You will also remember that Persia ruled a large part of the known world. Turkey was the base of the Ottoman Empire, which was the Muslim empire, Dar al-Islam, that ruled most of the Islamic world. We are dealing with nations that have a long and proud history, and one that even in recent times has given us a lot of problems. You may remember that off the Barbary coast, Tripoli, there used to be Muslim leaders that controlled vast portions of land and sea. They were so strong that Muslim pirates were able to capture British and American citizens, not to mention the French and the Germans and others, almost at will. At one point in North Africa, there were nearly 1 million Christian slaves within the last 200 years, people. This is the type of heritage and pride and honor that these people bring to the table on a nationalistic level. Add to that the fervor and the pathos of the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood was started by Hassan al-Banna after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire in 1922. Their mission was very simple: to restore the caliphate, one Muslim ruler over one united Muslim land, one ummah, one people, and to have the foundation of that government be Sharia law. The Muslim Brotherhood is right now the largest non-governmental association of Muslims on the planet. Without question, their ideology and their infrastructure has proved to be the fount of most Islamic terrorist groups in the world today. These people are to be taken seriously. If you want to know more about the Muslim Brotherhood, go to my website, terrycast.com, and read some of my master's level research on this group, the Muslim Brotherhood. But suffice to say, when you bring the nationalist passion of Egyptians or Syrians or Libyans or the Turks or any number of Middle Eastern groups, coupling that with the passion to please Allah, to be faithful servants of the Muslim deity and faithful followers of Muhammad, the false prophet of Islam. When you add those two things together and then fuel it by just a little bit of hatred for the pagan West as they see us blasphemers, you have a fuel, a passion, a sense of destiny that can grip the hearts and the minds and the actions of men who are willing to fight, to kill, and to die for what they believe in. There were some very, very foolish people in the American media who called what is happening over there the Arab Spring. The Arab Spring. It sounds so good. It almost sounds like a deodorant soap, doesn't it? You've got Irish Spring for white Anglo-Saxon, Protestants, and Catholic, and you've got Arab Spring for those Muslims and those people wandering around in the Middle Eastern deserts. Arab Spring. Just smells like freedom, doesn't it? No. What it smells like is tyranny, because the Arab Spring was launched and led by the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood, who is committed to the rule of Sharia law in the earth. The Muslim Brotherhood that is committed to the shackling and, if possible, the extinction of Christianity from the earth. The Muslim Brotherhood that is committed to crushing freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of the press. The Muslim Brotherhood that is founded in its ideology in Sharia law. That is no springtime, unless, of course, you're perhaps Satan and his angels, sowing seeds of bloodshed. Oh, look at the bloodshed pop up all over the world. Doesn't it make you feel happy, Beelzebub? Demons, look, it's an Arab Spring. More oppression, more bloodshed. Friends, the Arab Spring is now at least partly in control of the government of Egypt, the future of Egypt. It soon will be in Syria. It is in control of Libya's oil fields. I cannot emphasize to you the danger that that puts us in concerning the funding of terrorism. And what did our State Department do? The morons at the State Department helped bring Gaddafi down, a known devil, to be replaced by unknown devils that are even worse. The worst is yet to come, friends. I will talk more about this tomorrow concerning Iran. But in the meantime, you need to know this. It might seem like the NFL playoff picture is the most important thing in the world these days. Go Bengals. Jets, you're pathetic. But the truth of the matter is that area of the country is going to have an enormous impact on us with blood and treasure. We've only just begun, people. I'm going to take a quick break. We've got some good stuff coming up. We'll talk about the American political scene and an exclusive interview from Israel with a pastor from America who's part of a team to help bring righteous leadership to government. Don't go away.
Why is it that when you have been looking for something for hours, you find it in the last place you look? Could it be that it's because when you find it, you quit looking?
Hi, Joe Costello here, founder of Kailea Health and Energy. I've been making superb nutritional supplements for over 15 years, and from day one, I've partnered with Randall Terry, helping to fund his invaluable work in reclaiming our country's biblical and godly roots. I want to share with you a product that has changed hundreds of thousands of lives since its inception.
Introducing the Total Living Drinks, Greens and Berry, the ultimate superfood formulas that provide you the 9 essential areas of nutrition your body needs on a daily basis. Each serving of the Total Living Drink provides the life-giving phytonutrients that come from the equivalent of 5 servings of organic vegetables and berries, enzymes for better digestion and nutrient absorption, protein for building lean muscle mass so you can burn more fat for fuel, probiotics for better intestinal function, herbs for building energy and stamina, antioxidants for maximum immune function and disease prevention, and all the vitamins and minerals you need for slowing down aging and maximum health. You would have to take 30 to 40 capsules each day and spend almost $10 a day to match the over 30,000 milligrams of total nutrition in each scoop of the Total Living Drink. Order right now and get started on the amazing Total Living Drink. They come in 2 delicious flavors, Total Living Drink Greens and Total Living Drink Berry. And every single dollar we receive, we give a generous amount to Randall Terry's organization to help further his work and further the kingdom. Visit us online at the address on your screen and receive an online discount or call the toll-free number. Call today, and for the daily price of a latte, you can get back on the road to better health and energy with Kylea's Total Living Drink.